Hi guys, Skillfully Off here and welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to be talking about why I can't handle crushes. That's going to be a good one. So, I've been bored recently, so I've been kind of watching some old YouTubers I used to watch all the time, which has sparked a massive crush, might I say, on a YouTuber that I used to like, and then I kind of stopped watching them and then it came back. I'll get to that later, but when I tell you that crush is bad, honey, you got a big storm coming. So yeah, I was watching some old YouTube videos and I came across Emma Blackery's video about how she can't handle crushes, and when I tell you, oh boy, I related to that video, sir. I related to that video on a spiritual level. I was like, why not expose myself of how weird of a kid I was and kind of like expose some past crushes I've had and how weird I used to be, because Jesus, was I a weird fucking child. But basically I'm just gonna expose myself and talk about a few crushes and why I can't handle them, and
oh shit,
yeah, let's get into that. So if you knew me in high school, no you fucking didn't. Oh, I was something in high school, okay? I was going through shit, a lot of shit. I was in foster care, blah blah blah, tragic story. But I didn't really have many friends in primary school or high school, especially the start of the years, and it's like I didn't know how to process things, especially feelings for people that till this day sometimes I can't tell if I have a crush on someone or I want to be their friend or I just really like the look of them and I wish I looked like them, because self-hatred, you know, the whole shebang. But I used to be so creepy with my crushes in high school that, you know, when you get those moments when you think of something really cringy and you just kind of like want to curl up into a ball? That's how I get when I think of like any experiences I had in high school, because Jesus. Right, how do I do this without sounding like a complete nut job? Basically, when I was in, so I think the first to like second years of high school were my worst, most memorable, and probably why everybody hated me throughout the entire year of high school, because first and second year I was a weird child. I was a creepypasta fan, but like obsessive creepypasta fan, everything creepy, spooky. I would eat that shit up, and the fact I was like kind of really emo, I think that's why a lot of kids kind of strayed away from me. But when I had crushes on people, I would get a little notebook and I would just write their name over and over again, and like little love hearts and my name makes their name forever. It was weird, and I remember this one incident where I had a crush on this boy, and I feel so bad for him because I think that was one of my first like proper crushes, so I didn't exactly know how to deal with it, so it was a bit weird. Just a bit. I probably freaked the kid out. He did end up moving school, and I really hope it's not because my crush on him freaked him out. I don't know why he moved school. Probably not that, but part of me to this day is still like, what if like my crush on him freaked him out too much, he moved school? I'd run away from myself too. But anyway, I remember I sat here and he sat here, and in UK schools sometimes like there's a big long table and there's little seats, or in our older school there was like, or in certain classes it'd be like one seat, one table and seat, one table and seat, you know. And I was here and he was here, so there was a kind of little gap between us, but he was up against that wall as much as he could be because he did not want to be near me. And bitch, me too, if I was in your shoes I would run out of the class. Like, I remember writing on the piece of paper like my name and his name in little love hearts, but kind of like putting it to the end of the table so he would see. And I'm sure he did, and I think it scared him. But I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to process his feelings, and I was too scared to talk to him. So I was like, okay, maybe if I write I love you so fucking much on this piece of paper, maybe he'll glance over and be like, I like you too. That never happened. And honestly, when you're a bit creepy, I don't think boys really want to be near you. So long story short, I was the weird kid in the class, if that wasn't obvious. I do remember there was another few kind of like crushes I had, but they weren't as bad as that one, because I think he was my first like proper crush. I just didn't know how to deal with it, so I was kind of creepy. There was other crushes I kind of had, but that was kind of just sit in the back of the class and just like you know, over them all day and then think about them all day when you went home. I remember my attendance wasn't the best. Like, I got really bad attendance, but I got bullied so I didn't want to go. And I think I only kind of started going on the days I was in my crush's class the most. So I think it was Fridays I was in like his classes almost all day. So that's the days I would go to school. Yeah, that's kind of, it's really sad, but I'd only really go to school on Fridays just so I could see them. Yeah. Now my crushes are a lot better. The majority of the crushes I have now are on like fictional characters because I just, you know, like real people, bleh, actually, about that. I've had my first crush on an actual person recently. Mind when I said I was talking about, I was watching old YouTubers I used to watch all the time and I'm rewatching them again. Yeah, well, that's not going down well. I don't know if you know Corpse Husband, but I used to watch him all the time and I had like a little crush on him. It was nothing like big, I just kind of like, well, I don't know what he looks like, so having a crush on someone you don't know, like, it's a bit weird. I think at that point there was like nothing released of Corpse like at all apart from his voice, and I kind of had a crush on his voice, but I was like, it's a voice, like, let's not have a crush on a voice. And time skip 3 years later, he's playing Among Us, and I've been binging Among Us stuff, and I heard him again. I was like, oh my god, I remember this guy, and I started watching his old videos along with his new videos, and might I say I have the biggest crush on this man. Even though I have never seen his face, I've seen a hand, I've seen his hand and his voice. That is it. And I have the biggest fucking crush on him and I hate it so fucking much. Like before this it was like, oh, Stranger Things, Steve and Billy, and like Michael Myers, and just like other non-real people, so it was fine. I don't know how to explain it, but like when you have a crush on like a fictional character, like it's a lot different than a real person. Like with Stranger Things there's only like a limited amount of Billy stuff, but with a real person there's so much content out there, and it's just, you could sit and binge everything they've ever done, which I have been doing with Corpse again. I rewatched all of his old stuff and all of his new stuff, and might I say I fucking hate crushes. I'm addicted to this man and his voice. The only other YouTuber obsession I had was,
good evening,
Markiplier, which was quite bad, but that was back in 2012. So I think Markiplier and Frank Iero from My Chemical Romance were the only two crushes I had that were like real people, aside from like the people in my class. But like real people kind of freak me out, so I just kind of like tried to steer clear of that. My crush on Frank Iero, Jesus Christ, was that nuts. Basically Frank Iero from My Chemical Romance, he was my man, my boy, my, you know, I loved this guy. And I think the first time I heard My Chemical Romance was 2007, so when I was about 7 years old, and Frank was always my favourite. But by the time I became like 11, 12, 13, 14, I would listen to all of his songs, I would have all of them on my phone, they would be on repeat all day, and I'd have one headphone in my ear and he would be all I listened to. I also have this book that I'm not going to get out because it's under my bed and it's under a bunch of shit, but I basically had this book that I've talked about in other videos, and I'm tempted to do a video on it, but I'm also really scared to. And it's basically this big book about Frank. The first page is like everything I like about him, and then like some of his funny moments, the best things he's said, all the lyrics to all of his songs, which, writing them as a child, I used to write the lyrics down at like family dinners, and I really hope nobody looked at what I was writing, because Jesus, Leathermouth lyrics are something. That obsession was nuts. It was intense. Okay, I have an entire book dedicated to him. That's how intense it was. I'd cut out pictures of Kerrang magazine and put them in. I was obsessed. Markiplier was after Frank. Like Frank kind of died down a bit. I think it was like 10 until 12 I was really obsessed with Frank, and then Mark came along, so I kind of just hopped on that bandwagon and watched all Mark's videos. It wasn't as bad, like I've not got a Markiplier book, but I would watch him all the time and be like, oh, what if we like met one day and we fell in love, and like read fan fiction and shit. Yeah. And I got a pillow. So yeah. Aside from Corpse, my other crushes were like Steve and Billy from Stranger Things, which wasn't that bad. Basically, I would like, I have pictures of Billy up there and I have some over there. That's about it. That's as far as it goes. I have a playlist dedicated to him. I don't know how bad that is, but it's just, they don't leave my brain, and then they're all I think about. And I've seen season 3 of Stranger Things so many bloody times. Season 2 and season 3. I have this thing, if I have a crush on somebody that's only in like a film, I will watch it repeatedly. Like Billy, I had a crush on Gary and I played Billy about 1,000,000 times over. So, you know, like crushes just, they get in your brain and then you can't stop thinking about them. Especially if they're not real, it kinda really fucking hurts. I can't handle crushes. Like, I can't. It takes over my life. Like, I don't just have a crush, it's an obsession. And I watch edits, watch the show, watch whatever they're in. I'll find a favourite video and I'll watch it repeatedly almost every day. But it's like simmered. Like, you could walk past me and you wouldn't know that Steve Harrington is the light of my life. But then if you got to know me and I wouldn't shut up about Steve, then you would kind of understand I'm a bit obsessed. You know, like you wouldn't. But before it was like I'd wear Frank's shirt, I'd wear the gloves, I would dress like him. I was so tempted to get like the bits shaved and the hair dyed like him. And the crosses on the eyes. Yeah, you would know I was a Frank stan. You would know. But now it's like, unless you know me, you won't know, you know? Little secret. My crush on like now I appreciate Frank. He is one of the best people on the planet as far as I'm concerned. But I'm not obsessed with him. Like, I could look at him and I could just go on my day. You know, like, he is a man I look up to and aspire to be in life. He's just amazing, but I'm also not in love with him anymore, which is great. Just like Markiplier, I'm not in love with him anymore, but I do appreciate him. I think he's like one of the best people on the planet. He's amazing. So I hope Corpse dies down again, because I don't like this crush on Corpse. I hate it. I hate it so fucking much. I did have a crush on Corpse before, like I said, but then it came back in full force like a brick. So, also found out apparently I have a thing for hands. Only hands. Yeah, that's all for today's video. I'm sorry, this is just me talking about crushes. I do want to do a video when I talk about like some of the crushes I had on like fictional characters and shit. 'Cause some of them are weird. Really weird. Like, I had a crush on Grim from Grim vs. Billy Mandy at some point, so I kind of want to get into that, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. But that's all for today's video. Hope you like the new hairstyle, the new setting, the new vibe. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but I think I like it, so that's all for today's video. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you have a crush, please don't make it bluntly obvious to them that you like them. Don't be scribbling it in your notebook. Just maybe, I don't know. Don't ask me. I don't know how to handle crushes. I was gonna try and give advice, but like, I don't know. I had a crush on a guy in high school and I never fucking told him, and sometimes it bites me. Sometimes it's like, you know, like sometimes you want to tell your crush, but then you're scared. So just wait for the, I don't know, wait for like, become friends with them first. Try not to be friend zoned. Don't take advice from me.